Sepulchres of the dead, graves, tombs, mausoleums, stories of the supernatural, the unexplained, even the truly bizarre, often surround them. I'm Graham Phillips, and these are some of the many such mysteries I've researched. Welcome to Grave Secrets. Amongst the rolling hillsides of Dartmoor, in the southwest of England, beside a lonely, ancient crossroads, we find Jay's grave. Here, passers-by claim to have witnessed strange apparitions, a ghostly hooded figure, a spectral grey lady, and a phantom hound standing protectively over the grave. As the grave bears no inscription, Jay's identity remains a matter of legend. The mystery further compounded as it was desecrated in the 19th century when any bones were removed. Local folklore claims the site to be almost 400 years old, but various tales differently identify the original occupant. So who or what was Jay? Medieval tradition held that remote moorland crossroads were the domain of the devil, and occasionally crossroads were the burial places of those convicted of witchcraft. Some say that Jay was an unfortunate local woman hanged for witchcraft during the Puritan persecutions of the mid-1600s. However, records reveal that no witchcraft trials took place this far west during the period in question, so it's unlikely that Jay was a witch. A more romantic story favoured by locals is that Jay was a young suicide called Kitty Jay. In one version, she was a serving girl at the nearby Old Inn. After a doomed love affair with her married employer, she killed herself, denying her the right to be buried on consecrated ground. Yet, despite much searching of the parish archives, there is no record of a Kitty Jay ever having lived in the area. There is another, far stranger version of the grave legend. In this account, Jay was a man deemed responsible for an extraordinary occurrence at the parish church a couple of miles away in the village of Widdicombe-in-the-Moor. On the afternoon of Sunday, October 21st, 1638, a great electrical storm caused a rare meteorological event that devastated St Pancras Church. During a packed service, as thunder and lightning raged outside, what witnesses described as a great ball of fire smashed through a window and bounded through the church, killing 4 and injuring 60 of the 300 congregation, before racing upwards and tearing out through the roof, leaving fire in its wake. This is thought to be one of the oldest recorded occurrences of ball lightning, although at the time it was considered either an act of divine vengeance or the work of the devil. Its link with Jay's grave is that Jay is said to have been a local gambler who brought down God's wrath upon the village. A plaque on the church wall confirms the event did take place, and records reveal that some blamed a village sinner for the confounding tragedy. We're even told his name, a Master Reynolds. However, his first name was Jan, not Jay. A further local tale links the catastrophe with Jay's grave. In this version of events, it was not a witch, a suicide, or sinner buried here, not even a man or woman, but a dog. Some of the congregation recalled seeing a dog run out of the church when the tragedy struck, to be hit by lightning and fall dead outside the porch door. No explanation is given as to why it was in the building during a service, but records show that some did believe the dog to have been the instrument of Satan and blamed it for the terrifying event. Legend tells how the dog was buried at a nearby Devil's Crossroads to contain its demonic power, but its loving owner set up the small headstone and created the grave mound that still survives today as Jay's grave. Personally, this account is my favourite. A single name, Jay in this case, is unusual for a person, but common for a pet. But there's more. The surrounding moorland is the scene for another legend. It is said to be haunted by a phantom hound, which lends its name to Hound Tor, a rock formation which directly overlooks Jay's grave. That a feared dog was buried at Jay's grave might indeed explain the origin of this hellhound legend. In the late 1800s, the author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, stayed in the area, and the legend of the phantom hound, who many claim to hear howling in the wind at night, inspired him to write one of his most famous works, a Sherlock Holmes mystery concerning tales of a demonic hound said to haunt a remote area of Dartmoor. I quite like the idea that this might have been the grave of the historical Hound of the Baskervilles. But there's one last mystery regarding Jay's grave. Despite its remote location, it always has flowers placed lovingly upon it, and they are said to change every night, even in the depths of winter, and no one seems to know who puts them there. Once I stayed overnight in my car on the opposite side of the road. I kept awake until around 5 a.m. and nothing happened, but then I fell asleep, waking about an hour later to find, yes, the flowers had changed.